Welcome everybody. Hope you're having a great day. Thanks so much for taking the time to, listen and spend some time with us. My name is Cody Robinson. If you don't already know it, I am here with the lovely, passionate, and very, very driven Amie Igou. How are you, Amie?
I'm doing great, Cody.
Good. Awesome. Yeah, well, thanks for taking the time for out of your busy day. I know you kind of go through different seasons in your business, but I really wanted to take the time to highlight you and kind of chat back and forth and let the world know, just your expertise and get to know you a lot better. So how's that sound?
I appreciate it, Cody. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
No, you're welcome. So we're going to cover, a lot of topics, and you'll really get a chance to see what, Amie excels at. And then also we'll go through some kind of before and afters and some of the transitions and even remodels that you've done. Yeah, before we dive into some of these topics, is there anything you want to say, or before we jump into it? Or are you ready to go?
Well, sure. So I am Igou Design Group, and I'm a decorating den interiors franchise. And I really enjoy getting together with people, and I run my business with fairness, honesty, and most of all, creative solutions and love. And so that's something that I offer everybody.
I love it. And one thing I'll speak to your, to your character. We first met last year at Business Connections, which is a great networking group. If you are here in the Nashville area, definitely let me know. Would love to have you with us. And we're like a family in there. And I think Amie was I think you were one of the first people that I met. And of all the people I've known in my life, I feel like you're probably one of the most genuine and kind-hearted and caring people. And so
Cody.
Again, that's why I wanted to lead with some of these interviews, specifically with you. So just wanted to share that before we go any deeper.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, just the truth. You know my nature. Okay, well, awesome.
Well, I just feel the same way about you. You are absolutely one of the nicest, most sincere guys that I've ever known.
Well, thank you for saying that. I try my best anyway. Just take care of everybody the best that I can. Awesome. Okay, well, let's dive a little bit deeper. Okay, so how did you get into the world of interior design?
It's actually what I graduated college with, and I had a construction minor. So, really, the thing that lets me creative solutions is that I can just about address everything that a customer would like to do as far as a remodel or redesign. I've got the qualifications now for, plus 30 years.
Right. And you said I think we were talking earlier today, so you were in, was it outbound sales for like 15 years before you got back into, design?
I did outside sales.
Right.
Yes, I did. I was in outside sales for about 15 years. One thing that I love about having the franchise from Decorating Den is that I've got this whole corporation behind me, and they've already built all the relationships with the vendors. It's a totally different thing than trying to hang a shingle out on your front door and claim, that you're a designer. So that's one thing. I don't really take my clients shopping at local furniture stores. I come to them with all the manufacturers.
Right. Which is perfect. I mean, you're really, I think you've said it before, kind of a one-stop shop, but you have so much at your fingertips that you can really customize and tailor. And again, as we get deeper in the conversation, I think for those of you that are listening and watching, we'll get an idea that Amie she loves to connect with you. And somehow I was talking about how I can, when you walk into the room, you can see the life of the room. And sometimes it needs to be driven, back to life by your touch, but, and then the ability to be able to connect it with the personality and the desires of the people again, is another thing I want to make sure that we highlighted because of your approach. It's not just things to you, like it's a much
No.
much deeper thing.
Yes.
Okay, well, great. Let's see. So you've already mentioned a little bit about your philosophy. Is there anything you wanted to kind of dive deeper into that as far as like how you treat your clients?
My clients' needs and desires are the most important thing to me.
Mhm.
So I'm always happy to make suggestions, but the final say comes from the client because it's their space. And I really strive to exceed clients' expectations because I really, like you say, I want to build a relationship with them. But when they walk into that finished room, I just want them to be so overjoyed
Mhm.
at the final look and it be a true reflection of them and the way that they live, the things that they love. Yes, that's the most important part.
No, it's awesome. Yeah, again, you embrace it, and I completely get that. I mean, I think that's the way it needs to be done, for sure. And it's just always a breath of fresh air of how you approach it. All right, let's see. Okay, so here was a good question. I kind of threw it at you earlier, and it's kind of in the same vein, but let's see. So why can home design improve like your quality of life? Again, it's more than just things. I know you mentioned kind of the Valentine's example earlier, but however you want to approach that question, go for it.
Yes, so we ran a special promo around Valentine's, and the title of it was Is Your Home Romancing You? Well, as we've all been clustered at home now for a year, my goodness, how much things have changed.
Right.
And we've
Yeah.
all had so much more time to contemplate the way that our homes make us feel.
Mhm.
And so, hands down, you have a space that makes you happy, that brings joy to you. In fact, my thing I would say to most people is if it brings you joy, keep it. If it doesn't, let's get rid of it.
Yeah.
But the sideboards that Aunt Susie gave us 40 years ago, all of a sudden we're looking around going, that doesn't really speak to me anymore, or it doesn't reflect me. And
Right.
so, like I said, really my goal is that my clients would come home. It's a great place to work up, take off your work hat, maybe your play hat,
Yeah. Yeah.
just to breathe and feel good about the space that you're living in.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. And it's funny how some people don't even realize that until you've been able to come in and help again bring a room to life or a home to life. And it's like
Mm-hmm.
I could see where people would kind of fall in love with their home again just by going through
Yes.
time with you, because it's just like anything when you're around it for so many years, you just get kind of used to it. And I could see where there'd be like a wave of emotion when you've been able to come in and kind of transform these homes because they'll remember, how it made them feel when they first got the home, and then how much
Yes.
it's like a brand new space for them to just really, really embrace. So that's
Yes.
that's awesome. This one's a little bit off. It's still on topic, but I didn't ask you this one, and it's not a hard question. But you're talking
Okay.
about if it doesn't give you joy, get rid of it. Do you have any scenarios that's happened before, or how do you handle it when somebody is quite resistant to getting rid of something that it may not give them joy, but they can't turn loose of it to let you kind of help to revamp a room?
That's a harder one.
Oh, sorry.
Sometimes I think that we feel guilty
Mm.
um, if we've been given something. Everybody's style is different. So some people love antiques and they love all those hand-me-downs that
Mhm.
they've gotten for a couple of generations. Um, I don't know, Cody. That's
That's okay.
I
No,
have
I
to get
think,
a little creative sometimes. I've made suggestions to people that kind of were in that pocket that maybe we paint it,
yeah.
that we change the hardware on it. I had a client in Franklin, lovely, lovely lady, and she had a bedroom upstairs that her granddaughter stayed in quite a bit.
Mhm.
Well, she had a really older drop leaf desk in there, and it was a really dark wood. And she asked me what we could do to freshen it or make it a little bit more appealing for her teenage granddaughter. And so we painted it cobalt blue.
Oh, wow.
It it changed the whole it changed the look of it.
Yeah.
Changed out some drawer pulls on it and things. But I mean, you know, there's always ways to address that. And it's really up to the client.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a great way to approach it. I didn't mean to throw a little bit of hard one on you, but again, some of these questions come to mind. But like my wife, I think she does a great job of, if there's something that's really old or been passed down, it's like you may not want to get rid of it, but she won't hesitate to paint it because
Oh, awesome.
yeah, because if you think about it, and what you're saying, it's whoever is maybe has given it to you or wherever you've gotten it. I feel like they would just really appreciate the fact, if you still want to hold on to it, that you're using it. I think that's where,
Yes.
and okay, good. I'm glad you agree with that, because I was like, well, you're the expert, so
Yes.
maybe I'm talking off topic,
Yeah.
uh, but I think that's where I've really come to embrace it. When I was younger, it was just like stuff, and now it's like, man, if you could still make use of it, for something that's 100 years old, and even if it's kind of adjusted to fit your current style, the fact that you still have that memory and still have that story, a part of it, it just looks a little bit different. This thing's cool.
Sure. Another option is reupholstering something.
Hmm.
So maybe there's a chair that's been in the family for years and years. I actually recovered our dining room um, chairs a few years ago, and they had belonged to my husband's grandmother.
Okay.
When I took them apart, they were actually the horsehair
Yeah.
cushions on them that were originally on them.
Wow.
So I cleaned all that out and put a foam cushion on it, so they sit better than
Yeah.
they did.
Well,
But
how
reupholstery actually is a great option.
that makes sense. How old would you say those chairs are? Just curious.
140,
See, that's just,
probably
to me, that,
140 years
yeah,
old.
that's crazy. That's awesome. I love stuff like that. And again, just repurpose it and still have the stories behind it.
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right, let's see. Okay, so this is the fun one. So what's been your most memorable or fun redesign? I know we were talking about it some this morning earlier.
Yes. I have a client in Franklin, and I did the project just about a year ago. But the first thing that she said to me when I walked in the door was, I've been to the corporate website and I took the color challenge and I'm yellow. Well, every wall that I could see from my vantage point in the foyer was yellow.
Hmm.
And so she really, we didn't change her wall color, but she gave me free reign on redoing the dining room and the living room.
Yeah.
And so she had some like cream sofas in there. She had some cream and red animal print chairs.
Hmm.
And so she really let me explore the room and do lots of patterns. And I've got a testimonial from her on my Facebook business page. And so it's it's a fun video. So go watch it.
Yeah.
But she was just full of joy, and she was a lovely person to work with. But she's been my largest client thus
Okay.
far, as far as the amount of money that she spent.
Right.
But we wallpapered the dining room, a beautiful Jacobean, did new window treatments, new furniture. The only piece of furniture that she kept was a TV media cabinet in the living room that she'd had. And everything else was new.
Yeah. So when you told me about the, we'll see some kind of before and afters towards the end of that particular
Mhm.
house, right? Okay. So when you told me about this color challenge, though, I remember you posting about it. Is it still? Are you still able to go to the website and do that, like for your personal, like
That's
self? Yeah.
no, that's at the corporate website.
Okay.
So
Okay.
you just go to www.decoratingden.com
Hmm.
and there's a tab up toward the top that says something like challenges and there's 3 different ones. You can do a color challenge, you can do what's your style bedroom, and there's a third one that I can't think of right now. But
Yeah.
that's really just on the corporate website.
Okay. Well, still, it's a tool that you have access to that people can go and
Yeah,
do.
it's fun.
And
Yes.
yeah, I highly recommend anybody watching go and do that. Start kind of rediscovering because you might be surprised. I know I went to one of the events
Yes.
that you did at Stephanie's, and I think you did one of your. It was kind of a survey, and it was funny how my
Yeah.
wife and I were a little bit different on things, but I can easily switch to go more the route she wants to go.
Sure.
But I think it's really cool to kind of see how your personality impacts. You just think you might like something, but I don't know. What's your color? That's probably a hard question for you.
I'm a turquoise girl.
Okay.
I love aquas and I actually love greens too. So I'm really kind of, I like a lot of colors actually, but I'm
Yeah.
more drawn to blue tones. Um, my sample room that you're looking at behind me is actually a Benjamin Moore color called Meridian Blue, and it's pretty teal. But I love it. So,
Yeah. That's awesome.
and
And yeah,
actually,
like
I think it's funny because even in some of the slides, you'll see quite a few of blues,
mhm,
and that's been a big color. I mean, Pantone had a blue last year
yeah,
as their color of the year. So blues mix great, whether you're somebody who likes warmer colors or if you're somebody who's embraced all the grays that we've seen for the last 10 years. There are shades and um, tints of blues that will work with either camp. And
yeah,
so I think that's one of the most inviting things about blue and why we've seen it be such a
yeah.
prominent color in interiors
Right.
for the last few years.
That's cool. My brother-in-law, he's actually he's a painter. He does inside and outside on homes, and
Uh-huh.
he kind of stays ahead on some of the trends. But it sounds like the grays, they're kind of fading out now, aren't they? As far as like the mass market grays, are you seeing that change?
Yes, most definitely. Warmer tones are coming back.
Right.
That includes metals.
Yeah.
So things are transitioning kind of, you're seeing a lot more gold. It's not
Hmm.
the brassy gold of the 70s, but
Right.
it's gold. Um, we're going to see the silvers and the oil rub bronzes diminish over the next 3 to 5 years.
Hmm.
I think by the time we get to the end of the about 5 years,
Yeah.
gold will be the most prominent metal
That's crazy.
in
That's
design.
yeah, and that's what it was cool. I know it kind of jumped ahead. I didn't mean to, but um, yeah, just the fact that you're able to kind of see those things coming down the pipeline, I think is great. I know I kind of mentioned to you how sometimes people want to make sure they're up with the times, but to be able to get ahead of the curve, I think is great as well. If you want to, we'll keep diving kind of in the trends format if you want. I know you mentioned gold, swivel
Awesome.
chairs, however you want to dive deeper into what's coming.
yes, a couple of products that I really love. One is swivel chairs. They are absolutely a fabulous addition to a living room or family room. They promote communication. You can get bar stools at your countertops and things that also swivel. So I just think it's a great category that is kind of, as we're gathering again,
Yeah.
kind of promotes that kind of open communication and things like that. But there's some companies out there too. So along with swivel chairs are the curved sofas.
Mm-hmm.
There are some fantastic products out there that have curved seating. And so it's interesting when you think about the process because the woods and things that make up the framework have had to be bent.
Right.
And that's a rather time consuming process. And so you're seeing that out of your more luxury upper end manufacturers, but there are some lovely pieces.
That's awesome. Where can people, and again, I know we want to kind of go through like tufting and plush, and I'm still pretty naive on some of this stuff. But are people able to go to your site and shop directly? I don't think I've ever asked you that question for like some of these products, or they just need to go through you and it's a part of the like the consulting process and working with you directly.
Yes. Yes, there's a small percentage of my vendors that will let individual customers set up accounts,
Okay.
but that's not typical.
Right.
Um, most of the time, you're going to come through me.
Sure. Sure.
But the beautiful thing is I offer complimentary consultations,
Mm-hmm.
and then I go through the process of my presentation. I listen to the client's needs and desires.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end of that first appointment, we can decide if I'm the right girl for the job.
Right.
So there are two ways to work with me. And I haven't talked about this a lot, but I think you and I have, Cody,
Yeah.
before, is people can hire me on an hourly consultation.
Mm-hmm.
It's $125 an hour. I
Okay.
can do space planning, I can do paint schemes and things like that on that hourly consulting position.
Right.
Or if they buy any products from me, then they don't get charged for my time. I make
Okay.
my money on the products.
Got it. No, that's awesome. Yeah, thanks for reminding me of that. I forgot you have shared that before, but again, that's why I wanted to make sure we took the time to share a lot of things. But you can really tailor it to
Unpack
whatever.
things.
Yeah, yeah, but you can really tailor it to what the person needs, and that's anytime you can be kind of that more concierge approach. I feel like it's just the results are so much better, and it makes sense too.
Yes.
You having access and knowing the products and knowing the elements, it's only going to make more sense because if somebody may like one thing, you can direct them to multiple, parallels or something maybe even better,
Absolutely.
which is perfect. It makes so much sense to me. Let's see. Well, one of the other questions was, and it's kind of a simple question, but you can expound on it more. Like, what's the
Okay.
difference? What's the difference in a remodel, and a redesign?
Great question. So most of the time when you're talking about doing remodels, you're taking down walls, you're moving walls, you're putting up walls, you're doing new flooring, you're doing new cabinets, you're doing new tiles. So you're changing something that started as an inherent part of that project.
Mhm.
On a redesign, like I was talking about my client in Franklin, I didn't change her wall color. I didn't change her flooring.
Yeah.
So really all that I brought into it were the products
Mhm.
to enhance what she already had. And that's more kind of a redesign
Got it.
as opposed to a remodel. Yeah.
Right. No, it's perfect. And I think it's cool that you can do both, and you just have the
Yes.
relationships. You have the relationships with the people that can come in and do it if you need a remodel. And
Yes.
I know you've built a trusted network, and anybody that you work with has to have the same type of customer service and really passion and understanding about the people. I know you've been very strategic about your partnerships that way.
Yes. They do, because when you think about it, if I'm referring someone to a client, I have to be sure that they fully represent my company in a positive way. Because all of that, when there's hiccups, when there's no shows, like I just last month, I'm working on a remodel in Antioch and had an appointment lined up with a contractor, and the contractor just never showed.
Hmm.
It was a new contractor for me.
Yep.
And so I probably won't contact them again.
Right.
So I really do put a premium on the people. I don't run subs through my business.
Okay. Right.
So but I'm happy to refer people to clients, and then they can give them a quote, whether it's a cabinet maker or a painter or a
Hmm.
contractor or a handyman. And,
Right.
if they decide to work with the people that I've suggested, awesome. And if they don't, that's okay too. They can find their own.
Right. Yeah. But of course, the vision and the directions really coming from you as far as the structure of it all, which is fantastic. Okay. So I have another good question. It's an easy one. To me, it's a fun
Okay.
one because I think a lot of people don't realize it doesn't have to be an all or nothing approach, right? So you don't have to do a whole remodel or a redesign of your home. Like you can start with just one room or one space, right?
Absolutely. It's one of my favorite things that I say to all my clients is, let's start somewhere.
Hmm.
Yeah, let's build it together. Let's start somewhere. So, I've had clients that have been return clients over the last 4 years. Some of the pictures that we're going to see, clients started with me 4 years ago. I was working for a company called Closets by Design, which is also has a franchise in the Franklin area.
Hmm.
And they had just moved here from out of state, and I came in and did their custom closets.
Yeah.
Last year, they wanted to bring a fresh air to their dining room.
Hmm.
I had their fully white coffered ceiling. I had a navy painted in the upper parts of the coffered ceiling and did some fabric shades at their windows that brought in that navy.
Yeah.
And so then this year, they wanted a refresh on their living room, and we did 3 custom chairs and a new sofa.
Wow.
So again, I didn't do all the pieces and parts in either room. I just enhanced what they already had and loved.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love that piece. I think because it's just like any type of service like this. I think sometimes there's the initial thought of, oh, I can't afford it. Oh, that's just for, people that have more money or more time than I do. Um, and again, it's just the way that you're able to come in and just you really, you meet people where they are, which is kind of
Yeah.
one of my own personal philosophies. And yeah, I was trying to think. I feel like there was another question tied in there because you said there's someone recently you've met with, I think that who's in our group, right? And you said you went over to their house and they're looking at starting with was it a table or
Accent
was it
wall.
yeah,
Yes.
that's right. Yeah. Oh
Yes.
yeah. Would you tell about that? Like I didn't realize that how you could really change that for people.
Sure. So a lot of the houses that were built in the late 90s and early 2000s, you have these massive 2-story
Hmm.
walls, and they're not the easiest to decorate. You have to get a little creative sometimes. So, yes, Jason and his lovely wife, Kim, have asked me to help in their living room first. We're going to do a new rug, and we are going to work on that accent wall. And so then they took me around the rest of the house, and next
Mm-hmm.
year we're going to tackle a kitchen remodel. And then maybe the year after that, we're going to do some new dining room furniture. So,
Yeah.
you know, like I said, it's just, let's start somewhere.
Yeah, and you can. I like that you already kind of created a game plan of like the phases that you want to get to, which is neat. And again, you'll be able to kind of speak to what's coming up as far as styles and even when the time comes, you'll be in the know, obviously, of what what might be they want to do today. If they had a vision for what they might want the kitchen, this time next year, it may
Yes,
change between now and then. Yeah.
it could,
Right.
absolutely.
All right, let's
Well, and so
see.
Cody, I'll say too, you know, I mean,
Yeah.
everybody thinks that it's super expensive to work with a
Mhm.
designer, but there are about 330 franchises, decorating den interiors franchises in the US and Canada.
Mhm.
Our average sale is about $6,200.
Okay.
So I can do a custom sofa and a couple of chairs for that. I can do 3 or 4 window treatments for that. I can do, you know, for your accent table and accessories. I mean, there's just all kinds of options. And it doesn't cost an arm and a leg.
Right. Yeah. No, that's awesome. Yeah, that's why, like I said, I want to take the time to kind of let people know, like it doesn't have to be
Yeah.
an all or nothing. It doesn't have to be all, one time. There's affordable options. You're able to really
Yes.
match budgets. You have the gift of being able to work within the budget or what it might look like, or even how to do it in stages, which I think is pretty incredible.
Yes.
So let's see. I know we're kind of through most of the questions, but before we
Yeah.
switch over, like, so we covered gold, which some of the luxury homes I've been walking through and done some tours of, I've seen it coming back. Like even
Yes.
everything from the sconces to even just the bathroom, the faucets and everything. I'm seeing a lot
Mm-hmm.
more of that gold.
Mm-hmm.
Some really pretty, like almost like brushed gold, which can make it, from what I've seen. But anyway, so
Yes.
gold swivel chairs. And then you mentioned like what else is coming back? So like tufting
The
and
curved sofa.
oh, that's right.
Well,
You
and
mentioned
so
that.
I think like on fabrics,
Hmm.
there's plenty of options out there that are, I don't want to say plain, but yeah, that are, you know, solid color, boucles, velvets, which are very, when you think about a velvet, that's a
Hmm.
very lush, luxurious
Right.
fabric. But to make things more interesting, you're seeing a lot of tufting. Channel tufting is one of the things that's kind of a newer aesthetic.
Yeah.
So, channels tufting, when you think of traditional tufting, tufting is almost always done with buttons,
Hmm.
but they're doing it now without buttons. There's diamond prints, there's channel. So, channel tufting runs up and down,
Hmm.
and it doesn't have, you know, any buttons on it at all. But what's really, when you think about walking into a room and you don't sit everything around the perimeter of the walls,
Right.
when you're pulling those chairs and sofas out, sometimes you're seeing the backs of those.
Hmm.
And so there's a lot of product now that is just making that more interesting.
Yeah.
You know, when you're looking at a back of sofa. So, I mean, I like to put console tables at the back of sofas a lot, but if you've
Right.
got a sofa or a chair that's got a really interesting pattern in it,
Hmm.
or it's tufted in some way, you don't necessarily need that to create interest at the back of a sofa.
Right. Yeah, I've definitely noticed that specifically. Like I said, in some of the homes, and whether they've been staged or not, it really, yeah, it just ramps up the beauty of the space too, and you're not
Mm-hmm.
having to try and hide stuff. That's what's nice is working with someone like you, and you're very particular on um, accents and textures and those types of things. And that's what I think that's what elevates, so
Yes.
much. And again, like you're constantly introducing things to me that whether it's furniture, like you said, or whatnot, but even like wall treatments or whatnot. I can't remember exactly what you called it. I know when you presented a few months ago, I think it's a company out of, is it North Carolina that does a certain pattern
Oh,
print?
fuller architectural panels. Yes.
Yeah,
That makes me kind of giddy.
yeah. I mean, first time I saw it, it really blew my mind. But we probably don't have an example of that, but like how would you describe it? Or maybe I can find a picture before we get off and
Well,
show
no,
it.
I've got some hanging on my door, so I'm going to grab them
Okay.
so people can see them.
Yeah.
They're made out of PVC. So what I
Okay.
love about them, Cody, is that they're weightless. I mean, they just don't have a lot of weight on them.
Right.
You can get them in small panels or really large ones. So I have photos from them actually in my files that like whole ceilings. So they call the ceiling ones tracery, and it's really reminiscent of older homes that had really elaborate ceiling
Right.
treatments.
Yeah.
But there's all kinds of ways to use them. So they come in black and white,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
here's an example of a pattern. You can get them all the way down from a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch, no, a 1 inch diameter. So if
Right.
you want to do something really heavy, I'm just wrapping up a kitchen remodel, and I took out the panels on some of her cabinet doors and put the inserts in them.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I mean, there's things with birds and flowers and
Yeah.
all kinds of fun things. But it is actually one of my, it's beautiful, done in transom windows. I've actually done that on a couple of
Oh, wow. That's neat. Yeah.
homes. It's a great option for those windows because you can't see, nobody
Right.
can see in and you can't see out much in those. So it's a beautiful option for that. It's indoor, outdoor, so you
Hmm.
can use it on patios. You could actually build a whole fence out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just by joining the pieces together. So it's really a remarkable product, and really is a great way to dress up something that's a little lackluster itself.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to throw that curveball, but I remember when I
That's
saw it,
okay.
you shared some examples of it, and I was like, man. And I don't know what the price point is on those, but even then, like just to be able to strategically just change that. I mean, you showed some kind of pictures of it, and it just kind of blew my mind of how really pretty it is.
Well, another great option for it is you can make shelves out of it,
Oh, wow. Yeah.
or you can do it in the backs of built-in bookcases. A lot of homes, like in the
Yeah.
living room or something, you'll have built-in bookcases, and you can do those in the backs of those, and it's stunning. Stunning.
That's a great example.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing that. Cool. Okay, well, let's see if you're ready. Of course, if there's
Sure.
anything else you want to jump into or cover, we can. But I was going to jump into some of the images if you want
Yeah,
me to.
some of the photos.
Okay.
Sure.
All right. All right. Let's see. Let me get that set up. 1 second. There we go. Okay. All right. I'm going to share my screen. Let's see. Okay. All right. Can you see that okay?
I can.
Okay. I'm going to shift this into more of a slideshow mode.
Okay.
that still
Perfect.
good? Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Shift this over here. Uh-oh. I think it's running away with me. I didn't want it to just go.
That's
All right.
okay. Yeah. So
Okay.
this is the before photo. And this is like, let's start somewhere. We did
Right.
not change the chandelier. We did not change the table. We
Mhm.
didn't change the color on the walls. So
All
if you go to that next one,
Yeah.
how much different it looks with a light round rug on those dark floors and
Yeah.
lighter upholstery on chairs and some new artwork. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, to me,
really,
to
yeah,
me, it's next level. I like to kind of go back just briefly, kind of see it
yes,
and then transition back to it. Yeah. It's definitely
yes. I mean, even the chandelier stands out
right.
now, where you could barely kind of see it before.
Yeah. I think some of your before and afters, people ask those questions. Is that a brand new light fixture or is that a brand new whatever? And you're like,
Sure.
no, the only thing we changed was this and maybe
Yeah,
this. And it looks like a whole brand new space. It's incredible. Okay. You want me to keep going?
sure.
Okay. All right. So here's this one.
So this was my client that I was telling you about that likes yellow. And so she really, like I said, let me play with pattern and texture. I moved the rug that's here into the dining room and we ordered a new rug for this space, but she did 2 new custom sofas, 2 new custom tables, accent tables. I mean, everything in there was new except that one TV cabinet that she kept.
Right.
And
Okay.
actually, the valance at the window came down and I did a tufted cornice board above the window
Yeah.
and found fabric that matched her drapery panels that she had.
Hmm.
And so it just really turned out beautiful.
Yeah. All right. So we will go. Uh-oh. Yeah.
So that's kind of a shot through both rooms. You can actually see the wallpaper that I did in the dining room.
Right.
So one thing too on this is look at the back of the chairs around the dining room table.
Yeah.
They're interesting.
That's true.
It's not just, a fabric.
Right. Yeah.
So anyway, but I did new chandeliers here and in the dining room too. She's got the 2 new sofas and the accent chairs. The big ottoman that's down there is a storage ottoman. Her 7-year-old grandson couldn't wait to get the top of it off and jump in there as a little
Yeah.
hiding space. And so
No, that's great. And yeah, like I said,
yeah,
I'll just go back. I like to kind of go back just real briefly so people can kind of take a little bit of a look and then just the utilization, the space obviously feels so much bigger and brighter, obviously.
it does.
Mhm.
It does.
What was her immediate reaction?
Well, like I said, there's actually a testimonial on my
Oh yeah.
Facebook business page, Amie Igou, interior decorating den interiors. And so it's a really great, but she was just overjoyed. I think she squealed first
Yeah.
before anything else. But it's interesting because, like I said, that was about a year ago, and I touched base with her a couple of months ago, and she told me, she said, I would have struggled through COVID in my old space. And she said, but now every day I still walk in and think, got these 2 beautiful rooms. And so she's still super happy with everything.
Yeah, and for it to be consistently inviting, and that's what you want. When people can just keep coming back to it and just be in love with it, which I think is
Yeah.
just a testament to what you can do.
Yes.
Was there anything? Of course, this is just kind of a overshot but
Of
even
the
the
dining
chairs.
room.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the table, the texture of the table is really nice. Was that already there, or did you just revamp the chairs and?
No, that's all new. So
Okay,
everything in the dining room was new.
Right.
That actual table was made by a fine company, Kincaid. Kincaid has been around since I was in design school. So
Yeah.
they've been around for a long time, but I loved the Lazy Susan on it
Mm-hmm.
because it's a great way when you're entertaining, you can put those things that the rolls and the dessert and things, and it makes it super easy for serving. But she got a new sideboard in the back and the mirror that's above it. And we did new drapery treatments in there as well, which I think is the next photo.
Yeah. I think we may have only got, oh, okay. This is it right here.
Yes. So she had beautiful crown molding. I mean, her molding package is really nice throughout the house. So I really didn't want to do a solid rod that would just look like two lines across that molding since I was installing them higher. And so that acrylic option was a great way to address that so that you still see kind of the molding behind it. It doesn't really detract from it.
Yeah. That's awesome. See, that's what I meant. Like this, the attention to detail and the fact that you can, not only do you try to do things that can elevate, but you're also intentional to make sure things don't take away from a room. Like that, to me, that speaks volumes of just like do all this work and then have one or two things that can just kind of pull it down, which makes no sense. Yeah.
Right.
That's awesome. Yeah. Okay. Well, cool. All right. So what about this one?
And then this is the client that I said, I did custom closets for like 4 years ago when they first moved to town.
Mm-hmm.
And she was funny because she'd had these panels of lace hanging on the windows for a couple of years, and it just really it didn't fit. It didn't fit the windows or anything. So they wanted just a refresh in their dining room. So like I said, the coffered ceiling had been all one color, white. So I had, so we painted it a dark navy and added the window pane fabric shades at the windows that actually fit the windows.
Yeah, right.
And we did a new light fixture in there too. So that chandelier was new.
Super.
But all the furniture stayed, all of her accessories, the things, that they use and love every day. It was just those few aesthetic changes that really took it to a different place.
Yeah, I think my personal favorite, and everybody's going to be different, whether it's window treatments or chandeliers, but the ceilings are always what my eye always gets drawn to. So when you can highlight, just transform a ceiling like that, I think is just impressive. Very impressive.
So this is the same home. And so this year we decided to work on their living room. And it's really where they spend most of their time. They had a large brown leather sofa in here, and it just really wasn't working with the rug that she bought a couple of years ago. She loved it. She loved the colors in it. And so Lazy Boy is actually one of my vendors. And so we did a new soft gray reclining sofa. And then I did 3 custom chairs for them. So 2 accents and then one swivel in the striped fabric. So really what I do with my clients is, you can't see it behind me actually because they're lower than the back of my chair, but I have hundreds of samples of fabrics. Okay. So we started with fabrics that I took to them to make sure that it worked with the rug. So that's how we get things right. Looking at those samples with the things that they want to keep.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And I love when you said earlier about the swivel chairs, it didn't really click to me, or I didn't really think about it, but the fact that it allows you to be more engaging and social and whatnot. Yes. There's so much practical sense. It's like me in the networking group. I'm always having to spin my chair around. If we only had you had swivel chairs at the club, it would it would be great.
Yes. Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah. All right.
Yes.
Let's see. So we got one more picture. I think this picture, like of the same home, like really kind of highlights it even better, especially from the the fireplace angle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really turned out lovely.
Mhm.
She already had the drapery treatments too. So,
Yeah.
sometimes just finding something that works with everything that's already or that's going on there. But
Right.
um
Yeah. I think
they're
this. Go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, no, I was gonna say they're really happy with the results of it.
Yeah. I think this is
It
to me
totally
this.
changed the look.
Right. To me, this is a good example of like you didn't have to overhaul everything. Like you really just
Mm-mm.
repurposed the furniture, made it cohesive and fresh, and it just completely it brightened the room back up.
Yes,
I love
cohesive.
it. Yeah.
That's a great word.
Well, that's the plan most of the time. Okay. What about this one?
So, this client had also just moved into this older home. It's a older ranch
Mhm.
in the Gallatin area. And when I first met them, all the walls in the home were painted kind of that dark gray that's on the back wall um,
Mhm.
in the little alcove now. But all the dining room furniture was in there. Of course, the table was spun around, but it just felt really cramped.
Yeah.
I mean, scale and proportion are another one of the design elements that you have to think about.
Yeah.
So I brought it out into the bigger part of the room,
Mhm.
and we did a new cabinet and a new painting above it. We did some new drapery treatments, new lighting. Those handsome chairs back there are recliners.
Okay.
And the artwork that's hanging behind them were actually on the opposite wall, like when you first walked in the house.
Yeah.
And so, really just changed the flow in there. So they've got a little accent table between the recliners, and that's where they do their morning coffee.
Yeah. I said
And
coffee
they
bar.
just absolutely love it because they can
Yeah.
look out the front window.
Mm.
And so they didn't have that capability before.
Yeah. I mean, usage of space. I mean, I just again another highlighting point from you. You're like, what do you want to get out of this? And here's what we could do to leverage it and just to make it better and more enjoyable.
Well, and we lightened the walls in the
Yeah.
front part of the house. We lightened the walls quite a bit because it was really, really dark.
Hmm.
It was dark in there before.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's see. Okay. Here's the little bit better angle or a different angle because you changed some other stuff too.
we did. The kitchen had dark wood cabinets in it. And so we painted them alabaster white, which is a
Mhm.
Sherwin-Williams color, but it's one of my go-to whites. I really love alabaster. And then did a tile backsplash. And since then, they've actually gotten new flooring in the kitchen too, which I know um, even farther. But the little painted clock, that was new.
Mhm.
Um, so really just kind of a freshening up of the whole space. You can't see it in this picture, but we also had 6 recessed lights put in,
Okay.
which
And you said
lightened up the space quite a bit.
right. And you said
Yeah,
above the dining room table, that's a new fixture as well, or no?
that chandelier is new. Yes,
Right. Sorry.
yes,
Chandelier.
definitely kind of that industrial modern.
Hmm.
It's a more contemporary light fixture, but
Right.
yeah, it looks great with what she had.
No, I agree. Okay, let's see. All right, this is my favorite picture for some reason, but yeah, jump in if you want.
Well, this is a returning client also. 2 years ago, we started with her foyer, and we did new flooring in it, and she had a half bath in there, and I put this incredibly beautiful wallpaper in there. And so then 2 years ago, she asked me to come in and do drapery treatments. This room was painted kind of a rose color, which just did not do the furniture nor the chairs that custom chairs that she's had for quite some time. Like it just didn't work.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is Comfort Gray by Sherwin-Williams, and it's just a really beautiful light color. And so I really pulled the color out of that painting that's above the sideboard because it had some beautiful colors in it. But then I found drapery fabric that looked great with the wall color and her fabric that's on the chairs.
Yeah.
And so it transformed. This is a dining room, living room kind of on the other side of it that you can't really see. So there's 6 panels in that space. And so I will just say it changed the whole look of the room. It really made a huge difference.
I would have to say that's probably what it is that that makes this probably my favorite, picture in the bunch today, is the fact that when you highlighted coming out of the painting and just, again, I mean, I don't want to abuse the word cohesive, but just the accent pieces. Then obviously we're talking about the backside textures of furniture. Just looking at the backside of the chairs, I mean, there's just all that texture is nice. But yeah, it's got to be the way the colors kind of pull each other. It draws your eye to multiple elements instead of like one or two parts of the room. Yeah, I love it.
Well, I'm wrapping up a kitchen project. I would have loved to have put her new kitchen in here, but it's not quite finished. So this year we did the kitchen.
Yeah.
Which is super nice, but she is the client that I took out some of the centers of those panels and did those inserts in, and it's really stunning.
Yeah, we'll look forward to seeing those. I know you got a lot of things going on this year.
Yeah.
And then, I know here's another picture of that.
That's just another, yeah.
Right. Okay. Awesome. All right. This one was intriguing to me when you started pointing out multiple elements. At first, if you're not, don't have a keen eye, you won't see it, but feel free to walk through this one however you want.
Yes. So when I first walked into this client's home in the Hermitage area, she had some oversized leather pieces. There was a reclining sofa. There was 2 very large chairs over against the windows that were the brown leather. And so she asked me to kind of bring it up. Oh, there was a super small rug that really it was like a 5x7. It was just it was the wrong size of rug in there. But anyway, she asked me to refresh the space. So one of the first things that I did was change that rug to a 9x12, which filled up the space a lot better. And then she did a new custom sofa. Both of those old striped chairs are swivels. And then she's got the storage ottoman that she's using as her coffee table. Yeah. And new lamp. I love the way that lamp really stands out against all the white at the window. And then we did a new little curio cabinet that's in one of the other photos. See there again, there's the blue.
Yep.
But there you can see, I mean, it really changed the whole look of the room, just lightening and brightening it up. And so the new little cabinet that's over against the wall, I love that cabinet. It's shagreen is a wood treatment that has gained popularity in the last couple of years. And so that's a shagreen finish on the little cabinet, but it's got glass shelves on one side.
Yeah, I see it. It's really neat.
And it's just a really pretty little cabinet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it. And we got to talk about the wall going down the stairs.
Oh,
For sure.
yes. So again, she's got one of those 2-story, this is a split level home. So she's got a
Mhm.
really large wall. And so she sent me a photo of some wainscoting that she really loved. And
Right.
so I designed it and we had somebody build it. So it goes down the stairs and it really just changed the look of the home when you walk in the front door and you see that going up that left side. It's
Yeah.
really, it's really beautiful.
Mhm.
It's beautiful wainscoting.
I love it. Yeah. I love this. Yeah, just both elements of this one, but especially this angle, being able to see what all you were able to incorporate. So
Mm-hmm.
awesome. Let's see. I think we're almost there. I know we wanted to go through a couple of vendors and highlight any trends that are going on as well. What about this one?
We'll see there. I mean, in that one, that is Craft Master. And you
Mhm.
can see a lot of the gold in that from the gold on the coffee tables. I
Yep.
love interesting chairs. So
Mhm.
the chair with the gold framework, I think is super interesting. Um, just
Yeah,
beautiful.
I love the pattern on this one chair on the right side as well. I'm all about
Mm-hmm.
some pattern. So that texture is really nice. Um,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Okay.
So
Awesome.
Cody, we kind of put our vendors together in a good, better, best. And
Okay.
depending on what somebody's decorating allowance is, then
Hmm.
we can shop from those vendors.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
so Craft Master's one of my better, um,
Right.
but still I can do custom sofas. I can do custom sofas and chairs with them under $2,000. So
Yeah. It's exciting. I got to
yeah.
sit down with you and really go through some things. I know Melissa and I are looking for some pieces, and we're even looking for just like a bar, little small wet bar area that I'm sure you have some really nice pieces that we haven't been able
Ooh,
to find.
yes.
Yeah, we haven't been able to find what we want quite yet. So I'll chat with you about it for sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would love that.
All right. What about this one?
So this is from one of my more contemporary vendors.
Hmm.
Again, you see a lot of the metal. We're seeing a lot of that, like the base on the curved sofa.
Yeah.
So that does show one of the curved sofas. But
Mhm.
notice the back is kind of pleated. And
Yeah.
so it's just a really pretty application. And then I think the chairs are so interesting with the open side
Hmm.
pieces and then sitting up on those gold casters too. It's just really
Yeah.
lovely. It's a lovely space.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. I think we got one more. I think this is the last one of the bunch.
This was our Valentine's, the header on our Valentine's piece that went out about is your
Hmm.
home romancing you?
Yeah.
And some people are not going to like it because it looks like kind of a messy bed. But other people are going to embrace just the layers of it. So you
Hmm.
see several layers, but notice the fabrics, like the fur piece that's laying over that pretty bench. And that swivel chair that's in the back there is just a luxurious plush um, fabric on it. It's just
Hmm.
absolutely one of my favorite products from one of my vendors. But really, like we said, is your home romancing you? Is it the place that you feel the best when you come home at the end of the day?
Yeah. And what about the wall here? Is this texture up the green texture up the wall to the left?
That is a textured wallpaper. So wall
Ah.
coverings are coming back.
Yep.
We're not doing whole houses in them anymore, and it's definitely not maybe what your grandmother had. But wall coverings are coming back. But there are some beautiful options in it, and
Yeah.
things like this that really look like it's got texture
Right.
to it. I mean, it looks like it's quilted. actually.
That's what I thought it was.
So
I
yeah,
really thought
it's
it
just
was.
really interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
it's crazy. Awesome. All right. Well, let me
no,
get
but
out of
it's beautiful.
it is, and it's just the texture of stuff. I know we can do this all day. Well, awesome. Well, yeah, I would love to do this again. Maybe we could do it kind of sporadically throughout the year or every few months if you want to, freshen up any what's coming. Um, but before, obviously, I would love for you to share how people can find you and get in touch with you. Can you still hear me? Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Go ahead. Yeah.
So the name of my franchise is Igou, and it's IGOU Design Group. And you can call me at 615-969-9195. You can also email me at Amie, and I'm strange Amy, but it's AMIE at decoratingden.com.
Mm-hmm.
You can go to the website at www.amie.decoratingden.com.
Mm-hmm.
And so actually, you can actually give me your information and things on my website, and I can book an appointment with you.
Yeah, no, it sounds good. Could you say your email one more time? I think you broke up a little bit, but I think we got everything else.
Yes, so my email is Amie, AMIE, at decoratingden.com.
Perfect. Got it. And of course, we'll, when I push this out, we'll share all your details, and you'll be able to watch this and share it with your friends. Obviously, Amie, we'll get this up on your
Yeah.
direct Facebook page, and I'm excited. Hopefully, you'll get a lot of comments too, because I'm sure people will want to kind of inquire more, and that's what I usually try to do is take these conversations and let it turn into a deeper conversation with people. Yeah. Well, anything else you want to cover before we jump off of here?
I think we're pretty good, Cody.